guys, I'm Cash with CashedOutCars, and in today's exciting video, we're going to be doing a comparison between a BMW M3 and a 335 Xi with a tune on it. So they should be pretty similar in horsepower. The 335 actually has more torque, and in this video we're going to be doing a driving comparison and a 0 to 60 comparison. So I hope you're excited as I am, and let's get right into it. It sounds so good. So this engine in this car is incredible. This car has 414 horsepower and 295 foot-pounds of torque, and it revs forever. So I'm used to my Miata, which has a pretty high red line, but this will rev to 8,400 RPM, and it feels like it just keeps going. And that was still short shifting, dude. Oh my god. And it stops so good too. And that was like not even like matting the brake pedal. So guys, now we're pretty much just cruising around. I've been driving this car for probably about 10 minutes now. And like I said, I am thoroughly impressed with this thing. It's by far the most put together car I've ever driven. It feels so solid underneath you. You feel the road a lot, and it's not like rattly or overly bumpy. It really just feels like very put together. Alright, so coming to the end of driving around in this M3, like I said, it's extremely impressive. It's by far the best feeling car I've ever driven, and it really feels like something special. Now I'm going to show you some 0 to 60 footage of this car. This was with the owner driving, and with me struggling to hold on to the camera. I was blown away by how this thing hooked up, being two-wheel drive and having the horsepower that it does, and it's definitely quick. But I do want to see how it compares to the tuned 335, because that does have more torque, and from a launch it might even be faster. So now we're going to go drive that and then see what comes out on top. Ready? Yeah. I don't got it. Holy shit. Well done. Alright guys, so now we are in the 335 Xi, and this car is heavier than the M3. This car is about 3,800 pounds, and it is all-wheel drive, so you lose a little bit more in the drivetrain, and it's heavier when you're doing launches. This car does drive way smoother than the M3. It's definitely a better cruiser car, and when you get on power, it's like extremely smooth power. There's a lot less road feel in this car, but it's still fun, and like I said, it's still extremely smooth, so it's a good driving experience. So there's no question, this car is still fast. If it's faster than the M3, I don't know, but after driving them back to back, I really don't think it's faster than the M3. It doesn't rev out nearly as much, and the launch that we did, which I'll show you at the end of this video, wasn't nearly as brutal as the M3, and it really just doesn't feel quite as fast. So even though this is tuned and it does have 400 horsepower and 400 foot-pounds of torque, I really don't think it could hang with the M3. The brakes on it definitely aren't as confidence-inspiring as the M3. They're not bad, but the M3 just has great feeling everything, whereas this, like I said, is pretty much softer in every way possible, which you would expect for a car like this versus a performance-oriented car like the M3. So after driving this car a little bit more, I'm definitely not nearly as impressed with it as the M3. Now that's not to say that this is a bad car or a slow car, but the M3 really exceeded my expectations in pretty much every way possible. And getting in this after driving that, it's just way less of a driving experience and more like sort of riding on a soft, comfy couch that is not a bad time, but there's nothing super special about it. So even though this car feels softer in every way, and honestly being in it feels a little bit slower than the M3, mainly because it doesn't rev out as far and it's a little bit heavier, we still wanted to do a good 0 to 60 comparison to show you guys the difference between them. So here it is. Like I said, it launches a lot less hard than the M3, and it doesn't rev out like the M3 does, so I expect the M3 to be a decent amount faster, but for your sake, here's the comparison video. guys, so that's gonna wrap up this video. This was an absolute blast comparing these two cars. The M3 is definitely more of a driving experience and feels way more like a special car than the 335, as you would expect. The 335 is still a sweet car, there's no question about it. The thing is pretty fast and still a lot of fun to drive. So with all that said, thank you so much for watching. Please like this video if you liked it and subscribe for more. I hope you stick around for the next one.